I wanted to talk about social media and what I'm doing with Sprocket and how that's all going, and trying to grow a small business and become a successful small business, and just how hard it is and kind of things I'm running into. Uh, Rant a little, catalog it, maybe get some feedback from you guys that might be helpful. So, the app is Sprocket. It's a bicycle marketplace I made. I had this altruistic idea a decade ago that I would start a green business, a bicycle business, and I would help humanity with climate change. So I did it on and off, in between jobs, on the side, moonlighting, burning the midnight oil. And over the years, it kind of grew and grew and grew, and there was more and more interest, and it kind of was showing some promise. So in 2021, I went full time and started to work on figuring out how to monetize it and really power it into a self sustainable mode. And this is where I currently am. So, what I did in short is built an engine that takes attention and generates value out of it. So, the people who know about my app use it and love it. My problem is I didn't build the marketing engine part of the business. So, nobody knows about my amazing invention. And that's the problem that I find myself stuck in today in the beginning of 2025. So, how am I doing with that? I have quite a couple of social media accounts, and I've been on social media since 2014. Basically, when I started in 2014, I incorporated the business. I made a placeholder app. I started Instagram account, and I had some other accounts from work, like a Twitter account, uh, YouTube account, some stuff like this. And I dedicated myself just as an experiment to be posting about bicycles on Instagram every day. By the way, this app is a bicycle marketplace for buying and selling bikes. I'm not sure if I explained that before. So, raining, it's raining into my nose. So the Instagram account is, according to Facebook employees I've talked to, one of the longest posting accounts every day on Instagram, which is incredibly rare. But for all of that posting, in the course of a decade, every single day, I've only gained 7,400 followers, which is incredibly low because I'm not doing any of the hacking. I'm not doing any of the extreme growth strategies. I'm just being me. And now they say they've tweaked the algorithm to be more small business friendly, more indie creator friendly, which apparently they now admit was not the case this whole time. And on top of that, they flipped the whole algorithm from being focused on photos to being focused on 15-second videos, because that's just where the world moved in a decade. And I don't blame them for that, but it basically obsoleted years and years and years of posts that I've made and made them practically irrelevant. Yeah, I get a post like on a photo that I made years ago, but it doesn't drive anything. It doesn't drive revenue. It doesn't drive new followers, right? So it's kind of like time wasted essentially. And now they're trying to push it more and more into TikTok, but the TikTok ban today or yesterday, and they changed the whole grid from one by one to rectangles, breaking everyone's grids who designed their grids to be around one by one squares, which is the actual icon is a representation of those grids. Just so you understand how fundamentally upset some people are about this change. And so, yeah, so I've been grinding Instagram daily, and recently I switched to making reels predominantly instead of photos, because what I need to do is reach new people, get them to follow me, or get them to go down the funnel to at least look at my App Store and Play Store, or then install the app and then get to the paywall, right? So if I post photos, that's for existing people. If I post highlights, that's for existing people. If I highlights or stories. So The other thing I found with Instagram is really remixes. So if you remix other people's reels, then you get more attention. But herein lies the problem because you get more attention for whatever you remix, but it's not relevant to your app. So you get people that are like, haha, that's a funny joke, or haha, that's an interesting discussion that I want to participate in, but it has nothing to do with my app, right? So then hopefully they follow me or they see some of my other posts that are related to my app. So you actually need different types of content that you're posting every day. So now you're investing even more time per day because you have to post several different posts about your app. Then you got to post several different hook posts that kind of are popular and engaging based on prior engagement that hook people into your account to even see your unproven new stuff marketing yourself. And then when I got sand puddle, when I got the posts that generated millions of views, like I did two that were super viral based on remixes of existing stuff. I think I got something like 6 million on Instagram and 6 million on Facebook, so 12 million total. What did it result in driving installs and sales? Nada, because Meta wants to keep its traffic in its platforms, right? So nothing of any value happened from that. And that was really upsetting to me. So for all the work, even if you get massive amounts of traffic, it's not enough for Facebook to share that traffic with you. And so then I went and found MiniChat, which for $15 a month, you can get a system where if somebody comments like the word of the app, Sprocket, it will DM them the link because people are too lazy to type the link out if they see it. And nobody sees links and comments because it's Instagram. And so you do all this work and you get like zero traction. So it's kind of like it feels like playing the slots at a giant casino, you know? And by paying the slots, you're the sucker because you're providing free entertainment for this corporation. So you're effectively working for them every day of your life for years, but you don't get any of the returns. And I don't even understand how these accounts work that do have millions of people that drive traffic somewhere because how are they cheating to get there? Or are they just sinking a lot of capital for advertisement to get those followers to then try to convert them into some kind of service to somebody else like me? So it's just a scam all the way around. I don't understand, which may be the case. Then there's the added benefit of there being a ton of bots and how many bots by percentage are on all these platforms, right? And so on Instagram, I have like 7,000 followers, which is probably the biggest, most dominant following I have. But I haven't been able to figure out how to convert those people into paying customers or even into attention. Then I have a whole bunch of other platforms, so Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube, and Blue Sky's a new one that's interesting because there seems to be organic growth on there and actual real people, but it's growing really slowly for my count. Although altogether, I think there's like 6 people joining per second right now on Blue Sky. Um, and yeah, so I'm working through all these social networks and trying to figure out how to get them to work, but it's honestly been slow going and not in the direction that I want. What makes it really difficult is on top of everything, it's difficult to attribute how much traffic is coming from all these different social networks back into my app. So I know that if they went directly from the app that they were in to my app, like to my app store, Play Store, that's attributable. So I can see, oh, like X amount of people came from Reddit or something. But if they went to sprocket.bike/app, then I have non-attributed traffic, which makes up the majority of my traffic. And then I don't know where they're coming from. So then in order to know where they're coming from, I have to build custom links and have these custom links on every single social media platform like sprocket.bike/IG or sprocket.bike/YouTube to be able to differentiate where my effort is resulting in the traffic and how much of that traffic is converting from my landing page to my App Store page, and from my App Store page to my paywall, and how much of that traffic on my paywalls is converting to paying customers, right? But instead of building all that, if I just get more customers, then I can get more money in theory faster than building this entire infrastructure. But building this entire infrastructure is a mess because something like 90% of my traffic is coming from India right now. And the majority of it is coming through my landing page, not through these links. So it seems almost like beside the point to try to build all these marketing analytics that'll become useless in the future anyway. So I'm stuck in this in between ground where things are working. I'm not sure what's working, and I'm not sure how to fix it to get it to work better, or even if I should. And every step I take seems to lead me down this path of there's chickens here, by the way. Lead me down the path of if I spend more time building better systems, I'm wasting time because I'm not posting stupid stuff on social media. So to give you an idea, like what's really working and resonating is showing social proof and providing community value to the bicycle community as well as to the internet community as a whole. So I realized that I just need to show people the app is working and that people are using it and what people are posting on it and how they're creating these amazing bicycle listings on my app, right? So I figured out very recently, like a few months ago, that the format should be a 15-second video or less that's showing a bicycle listing, all the pictures of it, and then scrolls down and shows the contact method, the payment methods the person selected, and some of the technical information and specifications that they've entered about the bike or some notes about the bike, right? Another thing I figured out is like doing live streams where I just go through the marketplace and I critique and share what people are posting currently live. And so people really appreciate this. And I think they really resonate with it because it's showing that I'm helping people on my platform genuinely sell bikes, that I genuinely care about this issue. I'm not some corporate, life sucking Wall Street corporation, that I am indeed a small business, that I'm not a chatbot, that I am a good human being, that I'm trying to make the world better. And all of this is important to people, but it takes an enormous amount of time because so you have one 15-second video. So you find some music, you find the video, you post it to Instagram, which is where I start. Then you download it and you repost it to like 10 other social networks because I don't know how to attribute correctly where the traffic actually is coming from, right? So to post 3 videos across 10 social networks, that's 30 videos, takes me an hour or more. And what I need to be doing is like 15 videos per platform per day, or at least on the main platforms, like 15 videos on Instagram or 15 videos on YouTube or 15 videos on TikTok. And I'm wholly incapable of doing that because I get burned out, right? It's really difficult to just be doing that like a machine. And knowing that essentially what I'm doing is connecting databases. Like if we had a decentralized social protocol, which is coming already here, where you can post in a standardized database format to one platform like Blue Sky and expect it to just auto repost it on the blockchain and be picked up by all these other platforms, that would be one thing. But I have to manually connect this piece of content somebody created on my platform, this listing, to every single other platform. And for every single platform, there's different nuances, right? Some of them have hashtags, some of them don't have hashtags. Tumblr wants you to manually enter hashtags, even though they're in the text, because it doesn't recognize the hashtags in the text like it used to, because they stopped it from doing that for God knows what reason. And yeah, it's just a difficult process of going network to network because you have to keep in mind all the different algorithmic choices each team made, and you have to manually recreate that piece of art on each platform. Um, and so you do all that work, and then you go back into your console and you look at where your traffic is coming from, or if it increased or decreased, or whether somebody bought something. And like maybe somebody did, and maybe somebody didn't, and maybe something is trending on some platform that you posted like weeks ago, right? So you have absolutely no idea, no barometer of like what inputs are affecting what outputs. And the only thing I know right now is the more I post, the more it works. But I also know that as I'm posting a lot, I'm seeing a kind of like flat line where it's not nearly enough attention to affect nearly anything worth a damn right now, right? Just to be honest. So even if I post 3 pieces of content of 3 different listings on my app per day, or if I was to do 15, or if I was to do 20, currently looking at all of the analytics, I'm convinced that it's not enough. So first of all, people are using AI to get ahead of me, and I'm not doing that. I'm not using it because I'm worried about getting banned because it's not officially endorsed by most platforms. And then if you post all that, you see kind of a flat line graph. So if I had less than 100 installs a day on iOS, it's continuing to flatline at less than 100. It may go up a little bit, it may go down a little bit, but it's generally the same. If on Android it was about 100, 150 to 200, you see it consistently being 100 to 150 to 200. Like that additional postage isn't really affecting the needle. The thing that seems to be affecting the needle is sources that have been specifically built to generate eyeballs that are monetized, right? So, like I post to um, App Device, which is a application discovery system, and I say, hey, you get like a lifetime of free listings if you sign up now within this time window. And that drives a huge spike of installs, right? Like instead of 100 installs in that day, you get like 2,000 and you get quite a couple of reviews. And then another platform I discovered is Indie App Santa. And you post to that and you get like half of app advice. So you get maybe a spike of like 1,000 in one day, right? And so the fact that I'm able to drive these spikes tells me that what I'm doing is not enough. And no matter how much I do it, it isn't enough unless I do it on a long enough time horizon that I'm somehow able to amass enough velocity behind my accounts, not get my accounts banned somehow, because then I become dependent on them. And then I'll be able to post at such a viewership because I convinced, let's say, the YouTube algorithm or the TikTok algorithm that my stuff is worthy of showing to enough people. And then those people have the mechanisms in place where they're able to convert to actually see my Play Store or my console, uh, my App Store, without going like, oh, that was a cool video, and then just scrolling to the next YouTube short. So how this is done is just bedeviling me because I see like also product hunt every 6 month. I can post to that, and that requires an immense amount of work, but actually hasn't been even driving as much work uh, people to my system as in the App Center or App Advice, right? So I'm like, well, what's the cost benefit analysis? Should I be posting more? Should I be posting more content per day, or should I be looking at blogs or like a blog website where I ask to be on people's blogs? I'm actually going to be on a blog for bike karma in the next couple of weeks. So we'll see if that leads to any spike in installs or interest or something like that. So I'll try to keep track of that. Um, there's a bunch of other launch sites like Product Hunt. So are those sites interesting sites to drive spikes in installs? Um, but yeah, it's perhaps a state of society where if you know how to get attention, you know. But if you don't know how to get attention, it's stupefyingly hard to figure out how to get it done. And you have all these platforms that are marketing to you saying, like, oh, if you go with us, we'll give you attention. but like none of them actually do it. It's all a carefully moderated hook to get you to make shit for them so that they get attention, right? Because their algorithms can just pick through the sea of useful and useless posts and find the ones that are interesting and engaging to drive engagement on their platform to sell their stuff, right? Like YouTube sells a YouTube premium subscription. All of them sell advertising on their platforms. They don't actually care if you're there every day trying to generate posts for your business. Screw you at the end of the day. So yeah, I have let's say now like 3,000 followers on my LinkedIn. I have something like, which I pay for, a monthly subscription. I have almost 500 followers on my LinkedIn business page, whereas like Craigslist has 5,000. Over a decade, I've built up 1,600 followers on Tumblr. Most of that was originally through auto reposting, and now I'm manually posting to it. I built up a monthly traffic of 70,000 impressions on Pinterest, but that's only because I managed to talk to someone at a party in San Francisco and convince him to build an auto reposting feature from Instagram to Pinterest. So now I don't have to like manually pin stuff to it. And before that, I was even using an IFTT auto reposter, which is in the first place how I convinced them to build the feature. Um, on YouTube, I have a personal account and a business account. So I have a new account for my personal that has like 550 subscribers. And I have a business account for a Sprocket app that has like 310 subscribers. And beyond that, I'm not sure which one I should use or both, because I have this theory that maybe having my profile picture is more important to people. They don't want to see an app icon posting videos. But on the other hand, I have this theory that maybe it's just the amount of videos that you post that get you subscribers. So the more subscribers that you have, the more you're able to get an audience for new posts, and the more of an excuse you have to post about everything and not just your app, the more that subscriber cycle drives itself. As opposed to, on the other hand, if you have something that's clearly an app, that's clearly posting just on one topic, where if you start binging the content, it's all the same related content, right? So I don't know which one's better, and I don't know if I should be posting to one or to both. And I don't know how to figure that out because the amount of subscribers I have is too low. So my plan is to just keep posting to both. Um, Blue Sky slowly growing. I think I have 150 followers on there. Threads, I got to like 3,000 during Trump's whole election, and now people are leaving, which is depressing because I switched it back to bicycles, right? So now I'm down like 200 followers or something. Uh, yeah, it's just like this hill. It's like another hill to climb to figure out, how to make the small business a success. And after this hill, there's going to be another hill and another hill and another hill. And it's a real question in my mind, like how many of these hills are there before you're able to build a self-sustaining small business? Because at this point, I figured out so many things, I've discovered so many things just by not giving up, and because I kept going, that I'm really proud of the work I did. But what's the point of being proud of the work you did if nobody knows the work that you did ultimately, right? Like if a tree falls in the forest, you know what I mean? Like I'm feeling like I'm a tree that is in the forest that nobody visits. But I'm hopeful yet again, and maybe overly optimistic, that this is the last thing that I need to figure out of all the things that need to be figured out to finally get this thing working, right? It feels like at this point I'm on this precipice, precipice of having this engine that I figured out how to get the cylinders firing and how to get it outputting energy into a drive shaft. And I don't have any gasoline to put in the actual engine. So yeah, I guess there's probably a very specific way of doing what I'm trying to do. And I didn't mention that, like, I also discovered that having worked in the industry for big businesses like VC funded corporations, it's very different for an indie mobile app to run its operations because you can't just be dumping millions of dollars into advertising, right? Because you're just going to immediately go broke. So, figuring out these last steps, I'm very confident will lead to success. I just, for small business marketing in today's constantly changing social media landscape, I'm just not sure what those steps are. And it's driving me up the wall, honestly, figuring out what those steps are for social media creators. But I definitely think posting every day is important. Being on some of the main platforms is important. Figuring out how to convert people on those platforms, not just to entertain them, but how to get them over the firewall into your own Play Store, App Store listings is important. Um, yeah, it's like the last thing. Oh, and I would encourage you, if you're going to be building a small business, to figure this out earlier, not like me at the very end where it's like the missing keystone. I would say start knowing that you have to figure out how to get attention for a business or a project, and that it's just as important as the business or a project is structurally in itself. That was my mistake, right? And yeah, I guess I'm gonna keep cracking at this nut. I have like yesterday I figured out that I'm just gonna drop the prices on everything on iOS down for each country where nothing got sold over the course of last year. And maybe that's gonna put some countries that within their economies weren't within the pricing power purchasing range of what I have to offer as value to them. And yeah, ultimately, I think it's about chipping away at little optimizations and hoping that over time you acquire enough understanding of all these multiple complicated systems and bring online enough of these micro optimizations that in total they amount to enough of a robust system to get noticed and to bring a change to people's lives that they value and that they're willing to pay for. All right. Same time next week. Same time next week.